video, we are going to go over some of the basics, such as logging in, determining if you have permissions to edit your website, and just orienting around the shortcuts menu. So let's get started by learning how to log in. So you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see this little button here. In the event that your site doesn't have this login button, you can come up here and just add /user, and that will take you to the same place. So hit that login button. And then you'll see a screen that looks like this. So you've got this bar up here that shows you shortcuts and your name, and it should default to the shortcut bar. So if you are able to see this, then you have editing permission. But let's take a look at something in case you don't have permission. So let's go, I don't have permissions to edit this site. We'll go log in. And as you can see, my access was denied. You can also tell because I'm logged in and it does not have the same bar up at the top. So now that we can tell that we are logged in, let's check out this shortcut. So start with home. That will always take you back to your home page. So you could be editing a page, you could be lost somewhere, and hitting this home button will always take you back to your website's home page. Add content is where you go if you want to add something new and create something from scratch. So there's a variety of different options. The most commonly used one will be to add a flexible page, which we'll go into in more detail in another video. You can also add events and courses, although depending on your site, those might be automatically imported from other places. You can also add a news item, add a publication, research area, etc. Manage content is where you go when you want to edit something that already exists. So if you know that you want to manage a news item, for example, you can go here and manage news, and it will take you to a page where just your news items can be found. If you want to manage an existing flexible page, you go here, and again, it will pull up all of your flexible pages. If you're not sure what type of content you want to manage, or if you just want to see everything, you can click the Manage Content button. And this is kind of like the lost and found of your website. This has every single piece of content here. News items, flexible pages, you can click here to get media. And this will just show you your images and videos. And this will actually show you your alt text, which is something that we'll get to in another video. But this is related to accessibility, and it's a way of showing a representation of what is in a picture using words for users who are blind. And then over here, we've got another very important button. This is Manage User Permission. So if you are a site manager, you'll be able to grant and take away permissions for other users. So let's say that there's someone new in your unit and they need access to edit the content on your website. You'll go to this Manage Users Permissions section, and you'll find their name. First, in order for their name to appear, they'll have to go to your website and click the login button. So like I did on the Department of Economics, I've gone and pushed login, but nothing showed up. But what happened was behind the scenes, my name would show up here, and then someone would go in and either scroll down to find me or start typing my name here. And then they would find me. And this will show how long I've been an editor for. So then if you go to roles, you could see that I am a site manager. And if you go to edit, you can see more information. So there's my email address, and there's my status and my roles. So this is where you'll go to either add permissions or take away permissions. So if someone's new to your unit and you want to give them permission, they'll show up as active, and then you check which box or boxes you want them to have. So a site manager and a contributor allow them to do very similar things, although site manager gives more permissions than contributor. Site managers are able to delete content, and they're also able to grant permissions to other people. So if you're not sure if the new user should have that type of permission, then have them start out as a contributor. If they need permissions bumped up later, you can always go back and do that. And then once you've chosen the appropriate level that they should have, push save. Now, if someone has left your department and you do not want them to have access to editing your content, then you can go back here and do the same thing, except select blocked and uncheck their permission, and then hit save. I would like to note that there is a button here for cancel account. Do not ever push this button. The reason that we don't want you to select this button is because canceling someone's account will also delete all of the content that they have created. So let's say that this person created a bunch of events. All of those events will be deleted. If they created your academic pages, all of your academic pages will also be deleted when you cancel their account. So simply block them and take away their permission. I don't actually want to do that, so I am going to save that as if. Round out the rest of these shortcuts. You'll see site actions. These are not as commonly used. Manage taxonomy, manage sorting is something that we'll go into in a future video. Editing the main menu will edit these things up here and all of the sub pages. The page.found report is any broken links that you have, and Google Analytics will take you to your site's Google Analytics page. Finally, we have this Get Help menu over here. And let's go over these things because they might be used pretty commonly. So support ticket will take you to ServiceNow, and it will take you directly to the exact ticket that you need in order to get help. So you'll describe what you need, you'll put in your department's website, and you'll hit submit. Easy peasy. The user guide, that takes you to our Wiki knowledge base. So we have this resource that we've created for editors like you, and it goes through all sorts of different content. So this gives you information about logging in, editing content, making a flexible page, adding images and videos, etc. The third option in the Get Help menu is the accessibility guide. That actually takes you to the Stanford Office of Digital Accessibility, or SODA for short. And here you can find information about all sorts of accessibility topics. So using alt text, what we briefly mentioned earlier on your images, ensuring that you have proper color contrast, using heading and bulleted lists, etc. So there's a variety of different topics here that we encourage you to check out, and the link on your website will work. And finally, we've got this reference guide. If nothing else, we hope that you will take away from this reference guide. This gives you a very in-depth look at what all of the components do, all of the things that you can do on your website when you're creating pages or managing content. It also gives bookmarks for very important things. So connecting with the community, we have a community of practice where you can chat with other content managers via Slack. We've got examples of how you might lay out some of your pages, depending on what style you have and what type of content you're trying to present. Another link to our user guide wiki, a link to our office hours, a link to SODA, these and other training, and a support ticket. We also have information about how you can style your text, information about the different components that you can use when you're creating a flexible page, the color bands, accordions, timelines, etc. There's also information about postcards and all of the many ways that you can lay them out. Collections is just a way of putting multiple items in a row on your page. So creating columns essentially and grouping different components together. We also have different layouts for photos and media and examples of different banner images that can go either across the top of your page or be embedded within your pages. So we highly recommend bookmarking this page because this is your hub for where you can find all of the other topics. And as a handy tool over here, you can actually change the color palette to match your site so that when you're looking at what these components can do, you can look and see how they will look exactly on your site. So if you have one of the different colors, you can see exactly what that will look like. And that is the basics.